All right. Hey, everybody. Sorry about the wait there. Welcome to today's episode of Fumbles and Fame Plays Tomb of Annihilation. Fumbles and Fame is an international Discord community created to connect GMs, and players around the world to discuss and enjoy our love for RPGs as a whole and to play them together with a particular focus on Dungeons and Dragons. With all that said, it is important to note that we at Fumbles and Fame are not affiliated with, endorsed, sponsored, or specifically approved by Wizards of the Coast LLC, although if you have a friend, sure might be nice. We have a couple upcoming games for the next week coming up that we'll just get through in these quick announcements before we get into Omu. First, tomorrow at 7 o'clock, Princes of the Apocalypse returns. That's 7 p.m. UTC, by the way. The Mirabar delegation has vanished, and it is now certain that they were attacked. The trail of bodies has led to a strange monastery in the hills. What dark secrets might lie within? Find out Monday night. As, of course, like I just said, we continue Princes of the Apocalypse, and again, that is at 7 p.m. UTC. Tuesday, our weekly game of DDO with Cation and crew returns, as always, at its great time of 6:30 p.m. UTC. Always fun, so make sure you stop in and hang out with them. Then we have another jam-packed weekend ahead of us. First, on Friday the 10th, we have Curse of Strahd by Ken returning for Session 7 of their game at 6 p.m. UTC. Then Saturday sees the beloved return of our very own Steranesti sisters. Our very own Tahina returns with another one-shot set in her homebrew world, Steranesti, an island about the size of New Zealand that was created by a fallen star. The heroines are members of the Sisters: Security, Investigation, Surveillance, Transport, Extermination, Requisition, and Service, an influential organization located in Ostend, a center of trade, learning, and entertainment, a city whose streets run high with magic, gold, and corruption, where you often encounter people that are full of dreams. And finally, Sunday sees yet another one-shot coming to Fumbles, run by our very own DM Sam, who has run one-shots before. This one, like those, will not disappoint, I am sure, and you can catch all that at 6:30 p.m. UTC, and the game, I believe, he has told me, takes place in Longsaddle, long beholden to the aristocratic family of wizarding family of the Harpels. A recent inheritance has one of the Harpels looking for adventurers to clear out his uncle's experiment from the West Wing. Luckily for him, the local inn is currently hosting a rather large band of misfits. So if you want to watch something that you don't necessarily have to tune into every week, even though we love that you do tune into us every week, maybe give this one a shot. And again, that is going to be at 6:30 p.m. UTC. That's the games and announcements for this week, but you can keep up with all of that info and plenty more, like what's happening every week, by joining Discord and following us on Twitter. The links are right below. We have Looking for Games and Looking for Players channels, a Bard's College, world building channels, play-by-text channels, and much, much more going on. So if you're tuning in for the first time, just joining us, by all means, join us right now in Discord, and you can find all of the lovely little goodies that are in there. Finally, during this stream and all of our other tabletop RPG streams, don't forget to utilize our loyalty system. For those on PC, when you hover your mouse over the bottom right corner of the video, you should see a small logo pop up, or in the middle, I think, ever since Twitch seems to have changed their overlay. It's a little logo in the center, guy with glasses, I'm not sure. But kind of drag your mouse around and you should find somewhere that says you can redeem XP. For those on mobile or tablet, just look for the little puzzle icon and it'll do the exact same thing. That allows you to affect the game, giving advantages and disadvantages to the players and me. Please give them disadvantages. They've had too many advantages. And it's fun. Helps us have an interesting time as we play our wonderful game. Now, with all that being said, let's take a moment, and as the players get settled in, as they allow their minds to take them into their characters, deep within the jungles of Chult, I'll go over what happened last time in Tomb of Annihilation. Last time, as we had rejoined the party, they were just taking their spoils from Wormheart Mine, a place where they had killed a young red dragon by the name of Tinder. They also rescued members of the Brazen Pegasus, along with the captain, Captain Ortome Swift and Dark, and sent them on their way, regretfully wishing that they could watch over them and take them to direct safety, but the pressing need of finding Omu, finding the Soulmonger, ending the death curse that plagues the land is now mostly forefront in everybody's minds. Without another word, you had pushed off, beginning the last final leg of your journey. You had passed through the Cobalt Mountains onto the other side, into the Valley of Lost Honor, a wasteland. Along the way, you had encountered albino dwarves, who you had very easily talked down, thanks to Runa being a dwarf friend. However, something alarming had happened to Selenia, Runa, and Morthos. There was a day where there was no connection to the divine beings that give them their power. As such, divine spells didn't work, couldn't work. And it was a very intense and emotional day. And again, further reminded you, further solidified the need to finally finish this quest. 2.5 months in this horrible, horrible jungle. Finally wanted to push through. And so you had, making very quick work of passing through the Valley of Lost Honor, and capable of using a charm given to you by Cork the Turtle to find the path, to find the way to go. You had passed beyond an incredible valley with a strange beauty about it, further reminder of the strange world that you find yourselves in. You had traveled through jungle again, making your way through and watching slowly as your friend Morthos died a little bit every day. And finally, the jungle had parted to reveal a long ruined city surrounded by sheer vine-colored cliffs. Covered. Ruined buildings and stone boulevards rise like monolithic ghosts from the floor of the misty basin. Colorful birds wing and glide overhead. It's almost idyllic. Across from you, a waterfall pours into the basin, creating a swollen river that floods much of the city before draining into a deep rift filled with molten lava. Throwing up steam that enshrouds the whole city in an eerie mist, you also see that a ruined palace lies a few hundred feet from the edge of the molten maw that seems to slowly be swallowing the city. You had all taken a breath and come to the exact same realization. You've made it. And you had all decided one last look at each other, that this was it. This was what you had come here for. And had begun taking your steps down into the forbidden city of Omu. And that's where we continue our tale. Picking your way down these stone steps, you can almost feel the eerie silence that hangs over a city that once would have held a great civilization, a great number of people. Runa, your eyes pan over it, and the sheer death that must have taken place here. To have this large of a city abandoned, and to stay abandoned, is alarming. And you finally get your way down on, if you're looking at your map, players, you finally get down on that ledge where that singular building stands, just beyond the steps leading down into the city. And this building seems to be maybe a guard shack of some sorts. You know, a very outlying building, especially you, Runa, looking at it, you can definitely see that this doesn't seem to have had any religious significance. It doesn't seem to have had any cultural significance. Definitely a guardhouse, because as you approach it and you get closer, you can see the arrow slits cut into the limestone walls that would indicate a defensible position. You can see even a lopsided iron portcullis hanging over a long ruined gateway, beyond which you can see an open plaza. There is still an interior to the building. One could walk in to the building if one wished, but that's entirely up to you. At this point, Galinden just turns to the party and says, "I'll go scout ahead," as he has the entire journey, and just vanishes.
Do you guys want to check every building, or do we have any idea where we're going exactly?
Well, if I remembered right from what Zesha Mbaza told us, what we are after lies somewhere in the middle and underneath the city. So we found that obelisk, and I point over at the road sign that's somewhere behind us. And it told us where to go, and that this is indeed Omu. Maybe we can find something more like that will point us to the right direction. If we, I don't think that the one who put the soulmonger here built something completely new, right? He took up residence here and used what was already there. So maybe there is some kind of significant big, I don't know, catacombs or something underneath the city that we can find some hints here on the surface for.
Sin says, do you think Corvin can look above for anything significant like that?
Yeah, he can. Yeah, absolutely. But he can't go farther than 160 feet or so away from me. So he can't move far. But I can send him out and look for a likely spot, or maybe a spot where we can go and investigate further in order to find the right way. And also, we heard that the city looks unoccupied, but there are people living here, right?
Right.
I mean, you and T are supposed to prowl the streets, so maybe
Unfriendly people.
unfriendly people. Yeah, maybe he can check for them as well. So I'm going to send out Corvin and look through his eyes and get a good bird's eye view of the city from higher up and have him circle so I can and go a bit deeper maybe.
You bring Corvin into existence, and he kind of hops on your hand a little bit and kind of and then kind of flaps off. And you put your hand on and you kind of disappear into the raven's eyes, and a beautiful aerial view of the city opens up. And Corvin doesn't notice much with the 120 feet that he's allowed to go. Plus, there is this kind of pervading mist and steam that kind of roils up from the lava and kind of permeates the city. But there are a couple interesting things that a raven's perception notices. And a raven's perception with the perception of Runa, the eagle eye. There are no, that's okay. There are a number of for this I'm just kind of using Runa's passive perception. There are a number of buildings that stand out, that seem less ruined than the others. One of these buildings is quite massive and sits all the way at the northern edge of the city. It is a semicircular arena of sorts that stands. And the last thing that you kind of see of note before you kind of consider coming back down is again at the north end of the city, almost directly in the center line of the city, is a tall black obelisk. And then as Corvin kind of flies back down, and Runa, you kind of, every once in a while, you enjoy just staying in Corvin, just that little extra. And as he flies back down kind of towards you, which is kind of strange, flying towards yourself, you do see that on the walls inside this building are what appears to be writing.
The building that is standing underneath us, basically, the guardhouse.
Standing right next to you, basically, yeah.
Yeah. And there's writing inside the building.
Yeah, on walls.
Oh. While you were describing this, Runa was basically narrating what she saw through the eyes of the raven. So, and I'm saying, hey, guys, there's writing inside of that building over there.
Galindin, at this point, you've returned from your scouting trip. You didn't really want to go far. It's easier to hide in natural settings, and you're kind of in this very urbanistic ruin setting, and you didn't want to lose your party members amongst the maids, and so you kind of just quickly went and took a cursory glance, and then kind of came back. And as you come back, you catch Runa explaining everything. You catch her saying everything about what's going on, and you are with the party once again.
You said you saw writing?
Yes, there was writing inside of the building on the walls. Quick OOC, like graffiti?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
Which building was it? The one we're right next to?
Yeah.
I go in.
Okay. You step in, Ven, and much of the interior of this building has collapsed into rubble. Creepers cling to the walls, and high grasses sprout between the flagstones, amid evidence of long-dead campfires. One wall is covered in graffiti. Maybe Corvin only spotted a corner, but this is a lot. Some words painted in, you're not sure what type of paint. Some words painted on with what you can very clearly tell is dried blood. And others seemingly etched. And in fact, one, as you get closer to it, seemingly was etched by someone using their fingernails. At least that's the best you can tell, because the etching is quite shallow, but you can see it has these like trails of blood behind, as if someone was literally scratching this until their fingers were raw.
Can I read any of it?
Absolutely. All of it is in common.
Well, isn't that handy?
Which is interesting and very handy. Gotta love it. The first one that you read is "All Hail the King of Feathers." I'll give you a second to write this down as we go through it. The next one that you read is "Beware the Frog Monster." The next one that catches your eye seems to be a missive between two people. And it reads, "Eric, I've gone in search of the 9 shrines. V." As in signed by someone, the letter V. Another one you read says, "Fear the fangs of Raznisi." As your eyes pass over another one, you read, "The puzzle cubes are the key." As you read over another one, this one is the one that makes the least amount of sense out of all of this jumble. And it reads, "Kubazan equals bravery. Shagambi equals wisdom. And Moa equals question mark." And then the last 2 messages you read are, "The snakes are not what they seem." And the last one is a question that reads, "Who is Unk?"
Do any of these look recent?
The one that reads, "The puzzle cubes are the key," seems recent within the last few months.
Did anyone else come in with me?
I would assume the party would have probably followed you.
Okay, just make sure I
I'm
don't
right
have to
behind you. Yeah.
relate all this to everyone.
I would assume, since we're all writing things down.
Yeah.
The snakes are not what they seem. Do you remember when we came out of the city of the Grang, the UNT? I think some of them transformed. Do you think that is a hint for that, or is it even something else again?
It could mean so many things. It could mean that they are evil. It could mean that they're trying to trick us with their own writing. I mean, it could mean all sorts of things.
Yeah.
From experience, I would say that they're not good.
Absolutely. Yeah. I wonder who the King of Feathers is.
Yeah, that one threw me off. We haven't heard anything about feathers aside from that one little village or
Not to mention who's Unk.
Who is Unk? That is the
who
question.
is Ankh?
What about the bravery and that stuff?
Hmm. And we know that someone went also in search of the tomb because Sasha and Baza told us that the Trickster gods have been, I don't know, killed or taken prisoner or something, I think she said. And Eric, and I point at the writing at the wall, says, no, V says that to Eric that he or she is searching for 9 shrines, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe those are the 9 tricksters. Where does anyone of you remember how many trickster gods?
There were 9.
It were 9.
There were
Okay.
9, yes.
So this must be the 9 gods, right?
It probably is, yes.
Hmm.
You didn't see any shrines when you were flying above, did you?
No, but I saw a black obelisk in the middle of the city, as well as an arena ground. So
Additionally,
obelisk?
with that arena, Runa,
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
other buildings that had stood out
yeah.
did happen to number 9.
Oh, and now that you mention it, if I recount it in my head, the buildings that stood out, as being not as damaged as the others, were 9.
Maybe we should go there. Try and follow this V.
Roll a perception
Yeah.
check for me, quick, Runa.
Okay.
Sin likes
that-
arenas.
That is a 19.
A 19.
Mhm.
Okay. You kind of pan your head along the wall, looking at it, looking for any other symbols. You don't seem to
Mhm.
find any other symbols, but you do hear, and Glyndon outside taking watch, you do hear this as well. It seems to be this muffled singing?
Kind of singing.
I don't know. You kind of sit there and you wait. It's
I hear
definitely
something.
got like a rhythm. You can't make out any words or musicality to it. I mean, it seems like it's not chanting. It's not evil, da hu wa dee bo. It's not nothing like that. But it is.
It's also not Korok, right? Serenading us from the
Well,
outside.
You kind of come outside and you listen, and then all of a sudden you're like, "Oh shit!" And you can hear it is indeed Cork singing distantly up the stairs, not in the city of Omu. And you can just hear the song she's singing, and she sings Hakuna Matata. What a wonderful phrase. And just continues on.
Would that be maybe a moment to do the redemption for the
Yes.
Killer Jar?
Yes. Killer Jord, we cheers to you. I'm glad you missed Cork the Turtle because she's back.
Korok's back. Hey guys, I don't know if you can hear it, but I think our turtle friend is back and she's singing.
Hakuna Matata.
We should definitely leave this area.
Cork?
before Cork finds
Let's
us.
go find her.
Yes.
You wanna run away from
bolts
Cork?
off to go find Cork.
I am not
Morthos
going to
is
find
right
Cork.
behind you, Sin.
Okay.
I'm
So you
going
guys
the
run
opposite
off.
direction.
Yeah, I'm gonna go the opposite direction too.
Glyndon and Ven, you guys are too busy interested in moving on with your quest. Runa, what would you like to do?
I'm standing in the middle looking. I don't like this. Guys, don't split the party. Last time was bad.
Yeah, then don't split the party. Come with us.
Blow out my whistle, and
I
3
agree with him.
raptors follow Ven and Glyndon.
Okay.
I stay with Morpheus.
And you guys watch as the green light suffuses around Sin and then forms into 3 velociraptors that kind of snap and bob at you for just a second, and then you kind of tell them to follow. Galinden, kind of alarmingly, all of a sudden these spectral raptors come running beside your feet and just step along.
Maybe we can survey these tombs or whatever they are while they're, I don't know.
Okay,
doing
so you
whatever
guys
they're
work
doing.
your way down there.
I would like to say to Mortis as those two go away with the raptors or to the others and like, do you think that what Cork said, that there's some merit to it as I look after Wen and Gallinden disappearing together?
Sin laughs and says what they're not allowing us to see is they're gonna hold hands.
Should I say no? Let's find Cork.
Yeah. I'd rather not think
Okay,
about
so
it.
you guys move off to find Cork.
Mhm.
And very quickly you find her. She is by no means being quiet. And you find her fishing off the side of the cliff into the molten lava. And she's just kind of reeling something up. And as you guys approach, she kind of turns and goes, Oh, hi!
I sit down next to her cliffside. I go, well, why are you here? It's dangerous.
It is?
Have you seen anybody around here and how barren it is?
Well, no, that's why I thought it was perfect.
And what are you fishing down in molten lava for?
Rocks.
And how are they gonna bite?
I don't know. Life's a maze.
Do you have an extra? Because I want to try this.
I got string, and there's a stick. If you want to make it.
I take those things and I go and make a pole.
Rudimentary fishing pole, which is quite common to you. I mean, that's you've done that quite a bit, actually. So you guys watch, as strangely enough, Sin seems quite proficient in rudimentary fishing.
How did you
And
get here before us? And would those fish be already fried? I said, looking down.
she says, "Oh, I don't know. I just wander and sing. Life's a maze. This is the passage I found."
Do you know anything about the city? I point over at Omu.
She kind of raises her kind of turtle claw, and the claws kind of stroke the reptilian chin that she has, and her big kind of buggy googly eyes kind of scan over. And she says, well, I know what it used to be. She says,
Do you mind telling us about it?
No, not at all. Sit down. Well, I gotta. And then she kind of turns around, and you can see that she feels like, I don't know. It's strange. She kind of, you hear her kind of very quietly, like the tip of the tongue, the teeth, the lips, the tip of the tongue, the teeth, the lips. She's like preparing to kind of tell you this story. And
is it gonna be song form?
no. She turns around and she kind of gets down, and you can tell that she's kind of eager to tell you this story. She says, I used to learn about Omu all the time. Way back on my home island, in the Typhoon Palace, we would learn that Omu was once a jewel in Chult's crown. Built over rich mineral veins, the city garnered wealth with abundance. Omu jewelry was coveted far and wide, and the city's merchants grew fat on commerce. To enter Omu, it was said to enter the gates of paradise itself. But you see, the Omuans grew greedy, and they did not pay homage to their god, Ubtao, the great god, Ubtao, she says, and she kind of reaches down and touches your chest, where you can see now another locket hangs around her neck, roughly inscribed with labyrinthian symbols. She says, so he left. With Ubtao gone, primal spirits arose from the rainforest to bewitch the few remaining Omuans. But there was a story I learned that the trickster gods had known Omu and had known Ubtao before he left, and that they had done their best to trick the Omuans in turning their back away from Ubtao, that it was not their greed, but these trickster gods. You see, long ago, when Ubtao hardened his heart and vowed to weep for the people of Omu no longer, the rains stopped, the jungle withered and died, and death swept through Omu. One morning, a wise Zorbo emerged from her hollow tree and spoke to the dying Omuans. To convince Ubtao of their worth, she decided to cook him a stew made from all their good qualities. Catching such virtues wouldn't be easy, so she asked a wily Almiraj to help her. The Almiraj snuck recklessness into the pot, which she saw as a virtue, and Ubtao spat out the stew when he tasted it. From that day on, Obalaka the Zorbo and Ijin the Almiraj became terrible enemies. At noon, a brave Kamadan hopped down from her rock. She saw the evil in the Omuans' hearts and decided to lance it like a troublesome boil. The Kamadan fashioned a holy spear, but she left it by the riverbank, and a crafty grung stole it. In her rage, Shagambi the Kamadan forgot all about the Omuans and chased Nang Nang the grung forever across the sky. When evening came, a wily Abli stepped from his reed hut. He didn't like the Omuans, but without him, he'd have no one to play his tricks on. The Abli sent a marsh frog to reason with Ubtao, but the frog was angry and decided to wrestle the god instead. This amused Ubtao, so he gave the frog tentacles to make it stronger. When Kubazan the Frogamoth returned to Papazotl, the Abli, he chased Papazotl into the swamp with his new tentacles. That night, a Sioux monster broke into Ubtao's palace and stole a pail of water for the Omuans. When the god came running to find it, the Sioux monster hid the pail in the Jaculi's burrow. Ubtao asked the jungle animals where his water was hidden, and Moa, the Jaculi, was too honest to lie. When Wongo, the Sioux monster, found out how Moa had, he vowed to catch the Jaculi and eat him up. All the while, Unk the flail snail lived deep under the earth. The noise of the other animals fighting made her slither up to the surface. And when day dawned over her shell, the light blinded Ubtao, and made his eyes water. Life returned to Om, and the people built shrines to honor the animals who had saved them. Instead, Ubtao. Foolish, foolish Omuans, she sits back down.
So we now know who Ankh is. That was fast.
She says, "Oh, I'm sorry. Should I tell it again, but slower?"
No.
No, you're fine. Cork.
No, perfect.
Okay.
It's a good thing we came to see Cork, right, guys?
I'm not a very good
Yes.
speaker.
No, you're a perfect
I sing
storyteller.
better.
I'm always down for your singing as Sin sits down and fishes in the magma.
Alarmingly, Sin, you feel a bite.
I look around and I go, this is very peculiar. I pull on it.
Okay. You begin pulling on it. And you kind of and it is fighting you. There is a degree of weight to this thing, and you guys watch as Sin kind of pulls and then he kind of reefs up. There is a stone fish on your hook.
I wait for it to cool off before putting it in my hand to examine it.
As it cools off, the stone goes from this kind of grayish red to perfectly pale and opaque black as you kind of brush off the dust and everything else, almost like forge scale when you forge a blade. And you kind of brush it off, and underneath is just the purest of obsidian, a perfect fish.
Sin looks down at it and he turns.
Immediately, Cork's like, "You caught one!"
What did I catch?
"Well, you caught a fish. Can't he see that?"
Yeah, but what kind of what?
"Well, you can't eat it, silly."
Well, thank you. I acknowledge that.
"That's okay."
But what do
And
I do with it
then
now?
she leans in really, really close. Like her eyes are just right in front of you. And she just whispers, "So did you tell her?"
I lean in closer. I go, tell who?
"The pretty one. Did you tell her?"
Tell her what?
"That you love her, stupid."
No.
Oh. "Then I get the fish." And she takes it from you.
I kind of like look down and I go, no, and I take it back.
Okay. She lets you take it back and she goes, "Well, I guess I better be off. This fishing spot's been ruined," she says.
I look at Cork. I look back at Selenia. I look at Cork. I look back at Selenia, and I walk over and I hand Selenia the fish, and I keep walking.
Cork, you immediately see Cork kind of sees this, and you keep walking away, Sin. And then Cork walks up to you, Selenia, and kind of tugs on your, the kind of long, flowy part of your tabard that kind of goes down between your legs, kind of tugs right on that front part with both her hands to kind of get you to come down to her level. You're muted, or you're pressing the wrong button. Nope. So many technical problems today.
Can you hear me now?
Hey, there she is.
Is this Verizon?
This is alright. Can you hear me now? She's gonna bend down. It's like, hello? Yeah?
I think that means he loves you.
What? This rock? This fish?
Well, it means, and you could tell she's like frantically trying to come up with a reasoning. And it is not hard by any means to insight Cork the Turtle. She wears her heart on her sleeve. You can tell that she is just razzing the hell out of you, that is actually not what's going on, but she's almost too cute to allow her to kind of quash reality. And she kind of says, it's because you're so strong, and rocks are strong, and he's strong, and so together you're strong. And then the fish means the fish means he'll feed you and always make sure you're not hungry. Yeah.
I say from behind, don't forget the lava was hot.
Oh yeah, that too. That too.
Her face just is all red. Like, no, it's not. No, 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 no.
Yeah, it is.
Thought you walked away.
I can still hopefully hear.
Not that far away.
He walked far away. He began going back down to the rest of his party. And Cork then kind of turns to you even more, Selenia, and she says, "Are you going down in there?"
Yeah, we are.
But why?
You don't know what's going on?
Well, I know some things, but
Hmm.
not a lot.
Well, there's a very strong evil down there, and it's got a artifact that we need to destroy.
Oh. Well, do you need my help? I could come help. I'm pretty good in a fight. I give him a and I kick him. She said.
Would you say Quirk is like a child?
Cork definitely seems very childlike. Her form, however, is more adult-like than you would expect for the personality.
Mm-hmm. I look at Runa. How about you? Yeah, you go ahead.
Wait. We appreciate your offer very much. But I think we need someone to come back to.
Oh.
You know what I
Okay.
mean?
So you want me to guard? You want me to? Oh, I can guard. I can. Oh yeah. I'll look out for you, and I'll watch for you every day, and I'll get a nice little campfire going. Or is that what you mean?
Maybe not a campfire, because we know that a lot of bad people live down there, and I don't want them to find you. But you have been such a ray of sunshine on this island that's full of undead and terrible dangers, and your lovely voice. And when we return victorious, we need someone like you to tell our stories.
You mean like in the big city? Like in a tavern with an audience?
Yeah, why not? And we can introduce you to.
I couldn't do that.
We would be with you, and we would have your bag, your shell. You wouldn't be alone, and you could sing to them, and you could also sow the seeds of romance in the city. Those people need more love in their life. Trust me.
Okay. I guess so.
Yeah.
Okay. So no campfire.
Yeah. So
no
you
singing,
stay safe.
be quiet. Be safe, and watch out for you. Okay. Hold. I can do that. Yeah. Okay.
And maybe
she
pray
kind of-
to. And
ahead.
maybe pray to your god of mazes that we can solve the riddle that is the city and find its center and the artifact that lies there.
Okay. You be safe too.
Try.
And don't worry, I'll keep your secret, she says. And walks away, just very happy with herself.
Secret.
In the meantime, Ven and Galindon, having split off from the party with your Velociraptor companions, have moved deeper into the city. You kind of come down off of the rise that this guard shack was on, and you picked your way through a couple ruined domiciles. Even peeking your head in, there's really nothing of note. Most of it is just refuse and jungle overgrowth and everything else. And you finally come to kind of where one would consider the edge of the city proper. And it's interesting because here in this city, they actually have, even now it stands, a raised kind of roadway. And you can see that on your player maps. It's this raised roadway that kind of runs through parts of the city. And you now kind of stand at the edge of this raised roadway. You're not entirely certain where any of these shrines are, because Runa didn't necessarily specify where directionally they were. And it is just a mass of buildings and overgrowth and jungle vines and everything else. So you can continue on if you'd like.
Didn't Runa say something about there were 9 buildings that weren't as destroyed or something?
Yeah, I mean, you could keep an eye out for that, but being in the thick, overgrowth of the jungle, it is a little bit hard to see. Maybe if you got on the raised roadway, you might be able to spot 1 or 2, kind of as you kind of worked your way down the roadway, but where you are down kind of in the jungle foliage, hard to see.
Well, maybe we should go up on that roadway and see if we can find some sort of temple-looking buildings.
Then we're out in the open. I mean, we're open now, but that puts us even more in the open.
We're in Omu. I don't think if something bad's going to happen, it'll happen regardless of whether or not we're in the open.
Good point. Let's go.
Okay.
Did Sin catch up to them by this point?
You can see them. You're not caught up to them. So you could call out to them. You could say, hey guys, and they would hear. But you're not directly with them.
Just for the sake of not trying to be loud as much as we can I run to them then?
Sure. So you run, and as you guys are ascending the steps, you guys hear this kind of.
I crouch and turn.
You guys crouch and turn. Galindon, you kind of half knock an arrow, and you look back, and it's just Sin running up, who's kind of breathing a little bit heavy, and he kind of comes up. Hi, guys.
Well, that was a short visit with Cork. Must have been a quick song.
There wasn't just a song. We learned who Unk is.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
It's a flail snail.
Do you know what a flail snail is?
Nope.
I've never heard of a flail snail in my life.
Well,
I may have. I don't know.
Did Runa tell you anything more about these shrines or temples before you left them?
Nope. I
Did
caught
you
a
learn-
fish.
Cool.
Congratulations.
Did you eat it?
No, it was so Cork was fishing in the lava, and I was wondering why. So I made a cast myself, and I got this fish, and I gave it to Selenia, and I walked away.
Very romantic.
You did good.
I mean, from where I come from, you don't give someone a gift and explain why you give it to them.
Anyway,
Yeah, moving on.
Ben steps up onto the roadway.
So yes, let's get to the hacking and slashing part of all this.
Hopefully, no hack and slash. Let's just not get attacked.
Okay.
Walking down I'm gonna take the right side of the roadway and look on the right side of the roadway.
I'll
Okay.
take left.
I'm walking in the middle where it's safest.
Okay.
And since we're still walking, one raptor is in between me, right in front of Ven, and right next to Linden.
Okay. Perfect. So Galinden on the right, Sin on the left, and Ven walking right down the middle. I need you both to, three of you, all three of you, holy crap, to roll perception checks.
We don't have any advantages or anything like that right now.
You do not have any advantages. The only advantage stands at the moment is mine.
Okay, I got 10.
Got an 11.
6.
Okay, 10, 11, and 6. Whew. All right, Galinden, off in the distance, you can kind of see a few buildings. It's a little bit easier to see on almost your side because it kind of sits near the edge of the lava, and you think that the kind of natural growth has kind of been pushed back a little bit from the jungle here. You do seem to think you see one building that kind of, while not 100% for sure that this could be a shrine, you get the sense that it's at least worth checking out. On the left side, Sin, you honestly can't believe that you have all missed it up until this point. You honestly can't believe that the party missed it, even from where they were. And maybe it was partially hidden in the mist that still pervades and sticks to the floor of this city. But a plume of smoke rises from a walled compound off to your left.
I kind of like whisper and I go, "Hey, there's smoke coming from this wall over here."
Well, should we check it out then?
Carefully.
Yeah.
I'll mask of the wild back into the foliage.
Okay.
Must be
In
nice to be able to do that.
The raptors surround Ven.
Ooh.
In the meantime, Morthos and
Uh-oh.
in the meantime, Morthos and Runa,
Yes.
you guys are both just heading back to the party?
Yes.
Okay.
And Selenia, right?
Yes, and Selenia. So you guys begin to pick your way towards this compound
Okay.
very quietly. Morthos and Runa and Selenia, you guys are still back enough that you guys haven't really caught up to the
Mhm.
party at this point, but you will soon.
Okay.
So Ven, Sin, and Galinden, you guys walk into the middle of this quite massive compound. And as you get closer, you can indeed confirm that smoke does drift lazily from the center here. As you approach it, the gate lies in splinters, and scorch marks deface the buildings. As you step in and quietly kind of just peer into the center, you can see near the center of the compound is a plaza littered with charred human corpses.
How fresh does the char look?
Fresh.
I ready my
within
axe.
a day. And in fact, you look and all of a sudden climbing up onto one of the corpses and grabbing onto it with their teeth and kind of pulling against it so that this corpse body that has been so charred and burnt and blackened actually kind of rips apart with this horrible breaking noise. It seems to be just a pack of wild dogs feeding on the refuse here, and they kind of fight and kind of growl at one another and kind of jump on one another. And they're just regular old dogs just fighting over a meal.
How many of them are there?
There are approximately 6 of them.
I'm gonna cast Minor Illusion in the middle of them and make a bigger dog.
Okay, they all kind of back away, but their hackles raise, and you make this dog appear somewhat like your shadow dog, but a little less. And it kind of growls back, and they kind of growl at it, and there's this horrible moment, and then one of them decides to try and challenge this alpha dog and tries to bite into the flank of this alpha dog, and it just goes right through the illusion. And the dog kind of, if you could see a dog go, what the fuck, you would. And then they kind of just run off, scared and uncertain of kind of what the hell just happened.
Not bad. Not bad. How are my arrows doing that I've been working on? Are they done yet?
Yes.
They are? Okay, so I have 30 extra dragon teeth arrows. Okay.
We should still be wary of those dogs since they've had the taste of meat. They'll want more.
We should also be looking for the smoke's point of origin.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so the smoke does seem to be coming from an area off of these charred corpses. At this point, Runa and Morthos, you guys have reached the raised roadway, but you have no idea where your friends are.
Can we see, I don't know, tracks in the dust of the street or something?
Roll a survival check. Just specifically.
Runa can.
Can I assist her?
Yeah, absolutely. So you will have advantage thanks to aid from
That is
Selenia.
That's 20.
Hey! Yeah, very, very easy. You can see the kind of blundering footsteps of your friends, except for one. You seem to just see 2 tracks. And then Selenia comes up to you and, like, not so slyly just says, "Oh, those boot prints look like Sin's."
Yeah, let's follow them then. Good spot.
Can't be too far away.
Sorry, for our player map, we're in the big walled complex. The first one on the left.
Yeah, the first one on the left. You got it.
Okay.
All right. So it doesn't take you long to catch up with your friends, just as the rest of you are kind of fully examining and coming to the source of this smoke. When you arrive at the source of this smoke, you see that it is a pyre. A glaive has been thrust into the remains of this pyre, and charred snake skulls and blackened inhuman vertebrae are lashed to the spear. On a wall nearby, a symbol has been daubed into ash. A snake curled in a spiral, gripping a circle in its jaws.
Would I recognize that symbol at all?
You guys have seen it before. A couple of times. Selenia, you've kind of dreamed of this symbol before. You can make a religion check for me, Ben, and you will actually have advantage on this thanks to Shadow in the chat, I believe.
I appreciate the advantage, but it's not going to help much. Oh, it did. Okay. 18.
18. Okay, strangely enough, then, you actually remember reading back in your father's study. He had a tendency to collect books that were less than savory and written by potentially less than savory individuals. And there was one that he had picked up in the High Moor, he told you. and it was written by who you now remember, and it's kind of those strange, those strange moments where you remember a thing from your childhood that you haven't remembered in a really long time, just because something jogs your memory. And you remember him telling you about this, and that it was written indeed by a snake person, and at the time you had thought that your father was merely pulling your leg, telling you wild stories to appease the young mind of young Ven. And you had remembered being a little bit older and picking up that book and reading all about Dendar the Night Serpent, who it was said in this book was a massive snake god who eventually would, apparently, of course, because this book was written by a Yuan-Ti, who would rise up to devour the sun so as to allow the Yuan-Ti life to flourish. So yes, thank you very much, Shadow, for the advantage.
Can I check out that glaive? I think I have gloves on. I don't know if they would come with my armor or not, but I would like to pull it out of the pyre.
Okay. You pull the glaive out of the pyre, and it is gorgeous. A golden shaft wrapped in beautiful leather. At its end, it is this serpentine, long-bellied, glaive that probably extends about 7 inches off the top of the haft. And even at this distance, you can see that it gleams with the shimmer of poison.
I'll hold on to it.
Okay. That's good.
Should we check out this building here with the tall roof, the north side?
Runa, as Galinden is saying that, almost interrupting his voice, you hear this soft help.
There's someone calling for help. Can I identify from where?
Now roll a perception check.
Okay. Oh, that's not bad. That's a 21.
A 21. Yeah, you can. It is coming from a fallen section of wall. Perhaps the person is buried underneath. But it sounds weak. Very weak.
Someone is calling for help from over there where the wall has collapsed.
I run to the wall.
Yeah.
'Kay.
I also make my way over there. We need someone strong, I say, looking at Sin.
Sin walks over and says, "What can I help with?"
Can you try lift that, or what exactly does that collapsed wall look like? Is it something that you can safely put up and look if someone is...
You think there might be. Most of it is kind of in rubble and bits and everything else, but there is quite a large section of the wall itself that one could perhaps stand up. And you get the sense that maybe that person was at least clever enough to dive under that piece to kind of hope that he could have cover and everything else. So I mean, you could get Sin to try and lift that if you want.
I might help him.
Yeah, and I would try to pull that person. I say, if you two can lift that up, I can try to reach in and pull whoever is stuck underneath out.
Okay, so Selenia, because you are aiding Sin, you will have advantage on this roll.
And I yell at the person in the... No, I whisper, "Hey, you in there! Brace yourself, we lift the wall."
11.
At advantage.
With advantage?
Yeah.
All those shiny muscles.
Okay, so Sin, you go to reach under the wall and to lift it up, and Selenia, you do at the same time, and inadvertently, it's that rom-com moment where your hand goes over Sin's hand, and it's that awkward, like, oh, shit, sorry, you lift, no, you lift, and at the end, nobody lifts the damn wall. They're just too busy standing there awkwardly.
Let's try this again.
Yes,
Very
I'm really
impressive,
ready to-
guys.
All right, so roll again, once at advantage. This time, Selenia and Sin kind of space themselves out. Kind of, no, you go lift over there, asshole. Kind of.
I give Sin guidance.
All right.
You can do this, and I pat your back. I believe in you. Lift with the legs.
27 with that one.
27. Okay.
With embarrassment, he's just like, fuck this.
Okay, Selenia, for a half second, you do help. But you can't help but look. I mean, the corded muscles that ripple and strain against the sheening skin of a sweaty Sin who has already run and is now lifting a wall. He has got that perfect sheen about him. And he just lifts up this wall, kind of full on, just legs even bulging, and you're like, damn. And Runa, you quickly just kind of dive in and pull out this figure who you can't even really tell what he is. He's just covered in dust, just gray. You can see a couple of dried caked spots of blood and everything else. And you pull him out, and Sin, as you're holding it up, the wall just kind of collapses from the tension that you had put on it, just like lifting it up so strong, and you're left with like 2 bricks in your hand as the wall just collapses back where this individual would have been.
Crush the bricks just for added.
Yeah, sure. You rolled a 27, so you just kind of crush the bricks, and you kind of kind of shout to the sky using your raw strength.
Looks over at Selenia and goes, "That's how it's done."
Good job, you two.
I help Runa with the.
I precipitate the person clean and check them over to see how hurt they are. If I don't know, their ribs.
Okay, so in checking over them, you can see that this figure is. He's not physically hurt, but you get the sense that he has been under that wall for some time. He kind of coughs. He can barely talk to you because he needs some water. So you kind of administer him some water, and he kind of at first he just throws it right back up. He tries to drink and just throws it right back up, and then you kind of have to like, no, sip it here, and then you kind of like give him a little bit, and then you have Selenia do that while you're kind of going around the rest of it. And the only other thing you notice, interestingly enough, is he has a tattoo on the back of his neck. It sits right at the nape of the neck, peeking just above his very light brown tunic that he wears. And it is an inverted triangle with lines running through it.
Inverted lines. Have we ever seen that again? Somewhere?
You've seen an inverted triangle before.
Where have I seen it?
And it was a long, long time ago when you were first traveling through Chult, and you had come across the effects of Artist Simber's winter-like abilities. And you had found a man, an individual, that had the Wizard of Thay, that had the triangular symbol on his forehead, not on the nape of his neck, nor was it inverted.
Has he shaved He's not shaved, right? And he's not wearing red.
He's not wearing red, but he is bald. And his hair, he's got like the skullet. So he's got like this pale white wispy hair that just goes around just above his ear line and kind of flows just past his, just to the edge of that tattoo. And then he has this short, very thin cropped chin beard that is also white, and then just a little tiny tuft of hair off the bottom lip that is also white. And he wears this thin kind of brown headband around his head, not to hold back his hair, certainly. And then the rest of himself he's just a simple brown commoner's tunic cut off at the sleeves and just simple brown pants.
I check him out, medicine, like taking his pulse, and I would like, while I do that, inspect his hands. Are those the hands of a wizard, or are those the hands of the servant of a wizard? Does he look like someone who spends his time studying?
Okay, as you kind of, very cleverly kind of, okay, let me see your arm, and you kind of draw your hand along his arm, and let me see your fingers, and does this hurt, and does this hurt, and you kind of, I'm just checking your ligaments. His hands are quite smooth. Not one of an individual who has seen hard work, nor worked many tools, nor wielded many weapons.
Morthos, Ven, they seem to have the handle on that. Do you guys want to go check out that building, that one to the north?
Yes, please.
Yep. 1 second.
Okay, and as Morthos says 1 second, you see him go over into the corner, and he just throws up this Icarus liquid as red as his skin, and he just kind of hurls into the corner and just kind of stands there, kind of consistently hurling for a good minute, and then he kind of gets up and he kind of wipes his mouth, and he's kind of like, I'm good, and follows.
Sen says you're gonna make it.
What was that about?
I'll live. Don't worry, guys.
Well, I mean, how many more days do you think you got? We gotta hurry.
I still think I have a month. This might have been just, I don't know, seeing someone throw up. Just
Side
kinda made me
effect.
a little bit squeamish, I guess. I'm not normally squeamish. It's just, I think it's the effects.
Oh dear.
At this point, the figure, having had enough sips of water, he says, "Thank you."
You are quite welcome. Who are you?
I, Orvex Okramas, if it please.
A pleasure to meet you, Orvex. So, you are from Tay?
Yes.
Are you a wizard?
No.
Insight check.
Okay, go ahead.
That is 18 again.
Okay. He actually seems sincere about that. And as you're kind of judging himself, he says, I serve only as what they need because they pay well.
For a servant, you have extraordinarily smooth hands. Good man.
He says, I have not had to do much lately.
Have your masters gone into the city? Deeper into the city, I mean?
He just nods.
Do you know what they are after?
They used me because I can read the ancient languages here.
Huh. Why did they leave you behind?
They thought I was dead. They are not loyal to those that they pay. And they work for the one that I do not wish to even mention her name.
Oh,
That cruel little girl.
what's her name? The one that starts with this letter. I mentioned a V.
He says, yes, she is here
What? She's okay.
in the island, the peninsula. She uses a floating rock as her base. And you do remember seeing a long time ago when you guys had climbed up the cliffs of Umbala in the Aldani Basin. You remember seeing this kind of floating huge rock that kind of floated along over the Aldani Basin, and you remember that you had been told that that was known as the heart of Ubtao.
Yeah.
In the meantime, while you're having this conversation, the rest of you guys checked the rest of this compound, the entirety of the rest of this compound. And you actually do come to realize that other than that, other than the fact that this has been attacked once before and everything has, there's these dead bodies and the dogs might come back and everything else, this seems like a fairly defensible position. And you get the sense that maybe whoever was here before had thought to use this as a base and had tried to set this up as like a base of operations, somewhere where they could always come back to, somewhere where they could always retreat back and kind of find refuge while they search the city. And you guys get the sense that you might be able to do the same. Even if you take one of the buildings here and kind of maybe use some boards or some, some clever uses, you might actually have a safe place to be able to rest.
Are there any more writings anywhere? Maybe from V to Eric?
The only other writings that there are actually seem to be Thayan symbols and messages scrawled in Thayan, which none of you can read.
Actually, Morthos still has the eyes of rune keeping.
Okay, so Morthos, you walk up and it kind of shimmers, and most of it seems nonsensical. Except for one that just reads, "Watch for him." That of the red skin.
I relay that to Glendon and Fen, who are right next to me, I'm assuming.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who has red skin?
I point at Morthos.
I mean,
Glendon doesn't see color, Fen.
Okay. Is that canon? Is he colorblind?
Could be. That'd be hilarious. Oh my lord.
Wouldn't be that good of a hunter tracker if you couldn't see color.
No, you could. No. You very quickly make the connection. At least you're not sure if it's the right connection, but I mean, hey, Morthos has got red skin.
But what would these Thayans have to do with Morthos?
Probably nothing. I was just pointing it out.
Yeah.
well, it's
that's fair,
also
but
a vision I had of when I tried to connect to my father that I'm some sort of key that I'm assuming it's Aklam Greeth is wanting from me.
shit, maybe you are what they're talking about then.
Well, if that's the case, they sound afraid of you. So yeah, yes.
Yet I'm dying. And these two people are afraid of me.
Don't say that.
And as he
Not
says
good.
this, you see him very involuntarily kind of and just hurl up this nasty lump of kind of blackish red blood that he just kind of spits out, and it just kind of on the ground, and he's got to kind of wipe his mouth, kind of. Sorry.
That's really gross.
I'll be alright. I'm really sorry.
Nah, don't apologize. You're dying.
Nope. Oh, God damn it, you guys.
Can Sin walk out and like survey the area as he hasn't yet, and see if he can pick up any sensories that he can man make?
What do you mean?
Like alarms, really.
Oh, okay. Like man-made alarms or anything like that. Okay. Roll a perception check for me, Sin.
Yeah, that's a 21.
A 21. Okay. You look around and you do find a number of man-made traps, tripwires, and everything else like that. But they are all disarmed, which was why most of you missed them in the initial search and purview of everything. Or maybe certain individuals might have seen it and not given it a second thought because they knew that they were disarmed. But you can see that this place was assaulted.
Is there any way I can get them back to working?
You might be able to get a couple of them back into working order.
Sin's gonna go ahead and try that.
Okay. Roll me a. Let's do a sleight of hand check, please.
Our characters don't have this player map, right?
No. But your characters at the edge of the cliff would have been able to see the general layout. Like you had seen the waterfall, you had seen the flooded area, you'd seen the circular part that kind of looks like the palace, you'd seen the molten, you kind of get the general layout, but not the exact like, we're in this building, you know what I mean, kind of thing.
I'd like to go up to Runa and ask her a little bit more about these, what Cork was talking to them about.
Okay, so Galinden, you exit the building. As you exit the building, you can see Sin is down in the corner, and he's kind of tying this rope across a break in the wall, and the rope has kind of these bones on it that as he's kind of jumbling it, they just kind of gives this like noises, and then he kind of ties it tight, and then he kind of leaves it for a second, and you can see that they just hang down and are quiet, but only upon being moved or touched or anything, they will kind of knock together and make noises. And you think that Sin is very cleverly beginning to re-secure a kind of a camp for you guys.
Nice.
So you walk up to Runa.
Yeah, I when you come up, I look up and say, this is Orbex. He's a servant of the wizards of Tay. I think we have not met. Have you been with us when we found the work of Ardis in the jungle?
Yeah, I've been there for Artis. Maybe not the first time you met him, but I have met Artis myself.
But you have not seen what he wrought.
Yes.
In the jungle, yes. You did see.
I know what he can do.
What? Very good. He was abandoned by his masters, and he says that they are led by someone very dangerous.
Did he
that
give
we
a name?
talked about? Yes.
Do you know this person?
I look at the servant, and you don't really want to say her name out loud. Is it because that really will draw her attention, or is that more like superstition?
She is powerful. If you say her name, she knows how to find you. She knows how to see you.
I would get up then, and I motion for you, Galen, to bow down so I can whisper in your ear. Let's just be extra careful.
Okay.
And then I whisper in your ear.
Folks. All right. We are back. Thanks for supporting us along all the technical issues. It wouldn't be Fumbles and Fame without a little bit of fumbles and a little bit of the DM spacing out and not paying attention to his host when he tells him to talk. So we are back. We are Fumbles and Fame plays Tomb of Annihilation. Hope you guys are still with us, and hope we have some new people joining us. As we dive back in, we are in the ancient city of Omu. The party is in a walled compound within Omu, having discovered a Thayan by the name of Orvix Okramas, who was buried under the rubble here. You also very quickly had met Cork the Turtle. She had told you a story. And Glyndon, you had wandered up and had asked Runa about this figure that Orvix was talking about, that he didn't want to mention the name. And I believe as Runa was whispering in Glyndon's ear was when the stream dropped.
Because it was so silent of a whisper that stream could not catch it. So Runa is mentioning for Galen to come a bit closer, and she's whispering in his ear. I think that there are 2 liches afoot in the city. One of them is the one who uses the soulmonger to feed the Atropode, Azarek, and the other one is a female lich named Valindra.
So the V on the wall, perhaps.
I don't know that, but maybe. And she is in league with the Thayans.
Perfect. 2 liches to take down. It will be a good day. I actually wanted to ask you what, if Cork had anything useful to say.
Oh yes, she had. Do you remember the writing in the wall of that guardhouse?
Yeah.
And all those weird names and stuff. And Cork told us a story about the city, something that has been a legend that has been passed down. And she told us about Omu and its relationship to its former god Uptau, and about the trickster gods who maybe have tricked the people of Omu into turning their back towards Uptau, but maybe it was just playing Creed, because obviously there is a lot of minerals in the ground here, and they got rich because of that.
Right.
So I think I know now what the frog monster is that was mentioned on the wall. I think it's something called a frogonaut, a frog with tentacles. Sounds big and dangerous. And the king of feathers should be wait a second. What was it called? Was it a Commodon? Was that a bird? What was a bird? I don't remember. I tried to recount some of what Cork told us and show you my little anthropologist notebook where I jotted down some stuff. Then Kabazan was bravery and Shigami wisdom, and she also talked us about Moa, the one with the question mark, and that Moa was too honest to lie and told Uptau, who stole something from him. So I mean, the question mark could mean either honesty or maybe betrayal.
I think honesty makes a little bit more sense. It runs in that sort of, I think all of them have to stand for something.
Yeah, and I think if bravery is Kubazan and wisdom, then honesty might be the better match for the other one, right? And Ankh seems to be something called a flail snail, and it must have been a pretty big snail, because obviously the sun shone so on the snail's shell that the light blinded Upta. And I mean, if it was enough to blind a god, then that must have been a pretty damn big snail.
Right. And it
So-
seems that the flail snail, in the iteration of the story that you sort of spark notes through, it seems the snail is by itself, whereas the others fought another creature. They're paired, as it seems.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it all seemed like this conjunction, and they all did stuff together, and then the snail just basically appeared, right? So she said all the while Ankh the snail lived deep under the earth. That does indicate that she was separated from the others, right?
Could these
Also-
temples be dedicated to these creatures?
I do think so. I mean, if the Omuans turned their back to Uptau and then started worshipping the Trickster gods, it must mean that they built houses of worship. And the whoever V is wrote down that they are in search of the 9 shrines. So I guess that those buildings I saw through Corvin's eyes are the maybe temples or shrines or whatever of the Trickster gods. And it is in this direction, and I point the way where I saw those.
Okay, so looking, Runa, you can see that where you are, and you know, even if just for the sake of brevity, you had to kind of throw Corvin up really quickly to kind of get your bearings and come back down. You do so. You know that there is a building to the west and to the east of your position that would both suggest to be shrines. One is across the road, and Galinden, as Runa describes this, you're like, oh yeah, I might have seen that one. And now you're kind of like, okay, so that was a building I wanted to go check out, and it is the same building that Runa was talking about. But you didn't know of the one that Runa now describes being on the western side of the compound. So you are fairly close by at least 2 of them.
Runa, really quickly, the one to our west, you were saying, is it walled? Does it have a walled sort of compound in front of it or anything like that? Like the one to our east does?
The one to the west, Runa, you know, again, for the sake of brevity, you can throw Corvin up and come back down. The one for the west, it does have a wall around a smaller square building, but it actually has a water-filled pit in front of it. The one on the west. The one on the east is also walled, but the wall is a rectangular wall that surrounds a circular building.
Now that I know that story and can look through Corvin's eyes at the buildings, does their makeup indicate the creature that it represents? Because basically the Trickster gods are spirits of the rainforest, like the Zorbo and Amirage. So can I gather from with the water pit in front and the way the walls shop should that reflect the spirit?
Okay, so you use Corvin, and you've been flying at such a height with Corvin that everything's been kind of from a top-down view, right? And so you kind of use Corvin to wing your way down and to kind of see the buildings on the relief and to make out sharper details, and you will him to go a little bit further. The one on the west with all of the water, you can see that the actual temple itself seems to be representing seems to have watery and frog-like designs. And even in the middle of the pool that you had seen, you see a statue of a stone frog that rises above the water.
Has it tentacles?
No, interestingly enough.
Oh.
No.
Uptau did that to the frog.
Oh, right.
Later
or
on,
maybe,
probably.
I mean, Nang Nang is in the story as well. And
Right.
does that frog look like Nang Nang?
Could be, right? Could be either Nang Nang or Kubazan.
Frog before. Okay.
Yeah, you do. You've at least narrowed it down to 2.
Okay.
And especially being the anthropologist that you are, Runa, this is by no means a far leap for you to kind of make that jump.
Okay.
Going over to the east side, the east shrine, you can see is this fairly simple shrine. The back of the shrine actually has a fairly large cart that kind of almost blocks part of the wall, almost as if something once tried to like kind of block that part of the wall with the cart. The cart looks old and decrepit and kind of long overgrown. And as you kind of wing your way around the circular part of the shrine towards the front, you can see that tall monoliths decorated with images of a jaguar with 6 snakes sprouting from its shoulders frame each side of the wall. And a stone door is set into the shrine.
I described it to Galen, who's standing right next to me. Okay. Have we encountered that's something that we have not encountered yet? Maybe that is the. We had not seen a.
Galindin, roll a nature check for me, quick.
Could it be a cabazon then? Maybe?
Natural 20.
Hey! Natural 20. That is 10 XP to our viewers.
Yo, yo.
Yay.
And yeah, actually, Galindin, you've heard of these. You've heard of them. You haven't seen them, but you were told about them when you came here. The very first moment you came to Chult, and you had met with Kawasha and Kupalue, your 2 contacts here, and they had told you all of the kind of flora and fauna as nature-based rangers and druids would tend to do. And you were told that a Commodon is indeed a jaguar with 6 snakes that sprout from its back.
Right. Runa, I was told earlier on, a Commodon is the jaguar with the snakes. So I'm thinking maybe these are temples to Shagambi and Nang Nang.
Yes, that makes sense.
Should we check them out? I feel like we need to deal with these shrines before getting closer inside the city.
Yeah.
Find these shrines wherever they are in the city and deal with them. Whatever that means.
I agree. But I think we should all stick together very closely, because I don't want to leave anyone behind just in case we find a way deeper in or something.
You probably saw Morthos over there. You might have been dealing with your new friend. He's holding it all together really well, but should keep an eye on him.
I am keeping an eye on him.
Closer than you already do.
Now that you mention it, I would like to take you by the arm and maybe step a few feet away from Avex and the others, if they are still around, and I say, when you will make sure that what happened that day with T-Rex won't happen again. You won't let him do that, right?
No, I'll shoot him before he does that. I won't kill him. I'll just shoot him.
I would prefer if you would not.
Well, you've seen what I can do with my bow.
You mean
my
the one
arrows.
that ensnares people, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Okay then. Please keep an eye for him, out for him as well. From me.
Well, we just have to make sure nothing happens to you, and he won't do anything stupid like that.
Can in the meantime, Morthos
Next
is
time I
trying
stay in
to
the back.
climb up to the highest point he can within the compound right now? Tolley, you're muted.
Sorry, muted. Of course, yes, you can climb up. Roll an athletics check for me.
Oh yeah, easy with the -1.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay, 13.
13. Okay, so as you guys finish this conversation, and you guys kind of look around, and as what happens in, as always, when you're talking about a person, you kind of generally want to look and find that person. And Galinden and Runa, your eyes kind of naturally travel and you look and you don't see Morthos. And then he kind of gives a shout, kind of, "Hey guys!" And you look up and he's standing on this jagged like chunk of wall, probably a good 10 feet up. And he's kind of balancing there on one foot. And he's kind of just like, "Check this out! I
Oh
can
my
see
gods.
everything!"
By the gods, old and new. Good God, I'm running towards him now.
Yes, I'm right behind him.
You guys can't see me, but I'm
pale.
Sin says jump!
Marcus,
Would
be
there be a
careful!
soft would there be a soft landing?
Depends.
Holy, I'm dashing. I'm
Same.
dash.
Yeah, you guys
action.
see Morthos is beginning to kind of hold out his hand. He's kind of...
If I have to, I'll catch him.
Okay.
Melania shouts, "Don't be an idiot."
Are you jumping, Morthos?
No, he's just gonna stay there.
Okay. You watch eventually, Galinden, you kind of reach the end and you're kind of waiting that half second to be like, okay, if this motherfucker gonna jump. And then you see he kind of just kicks his foot out from underneath himself and then lands with a soft kind of thud on the wall. And he just kind of crosses his legs like right on the wall. And you even hear the wall kind of crack underneath him.
Can I climb up beside him, but far, like 5 feet away from him to spread it out, like spread out the weight distribution upon the wall?
Roll an athletics check for me.
Can Sunshine join him?
No jokes, nat 20. Same dice.
Nice. Nice. Okay, so Galinden, you very quickly and easily just scramble up using your weight and everything else to counterbalance and get up, and you sit next to him. Sin, you go up and begin to try and climb on the other side of Morthos now. Roll a strength check, please.
I rolled a 17 plus 5, so 22.
22. Okay, you too begin to climb up, but now you can hear this kind of wall kind of
Guys,
with
what
every,
are you
like-
doing?
with every climb you get up, but then the three of you sit, Galinden, Morthos, Sin, on the wall.
Which side of the wall are we on? Like the west face, the north face?
The north face.
Okay, I would like
And
to.
you are
make-
sitting inward.
Right. I'm gonna go to the west face and look at the temple from those
Okay.
standing on top of the wall.
Roll an acrobatics check.
18.
18. Okay. You run along the wall very nimbly, and some of the bricks kind of peel out from underneath your foot, but Galinden, your center of balance never changes, and you make a beeline around for that western part of the wall, and you look over. Roll a perception check for me, please. And you are looking at the western one, right? You said? Yeah, because you're on the western part of the wall.
You're right, yeah.
What'd you get for your perception?
23.
23. Okay. Your elf eyes see, interestingly enough, you're not too far away from the pool, probably only about 100 feet. And the pool itself sits at such a ways away from the lava that there's not a whole lot of steam here. So you actually have a very clear view of what's going on. You can't see into the shrine, of course, but looking at the pool, you can see that it's a very shallow pool, would be your guess. Doesn't seem to be incredibly deep looking at the edges. However, it is clouded with thick mud and algae. Looking at the pool, though, you can see what appears to be two plant stalks sticking up from the water. and they're the only plants in the water.
I have an idea. I call back to the group, wherever they may be. I'm going to shoot underneath the plant stalk into the water with a normal arrow.
Okay. Roll an attack roll. Yeah, I don't believe that there is any advantages for you. Sin,
21.
what would you like to say to Morthos? What'd you get?
21.
21. Okay. The arrow just kind of into the water and nothing happens.
Sin's gonna be like, you're getting a little more daredevilish.
It's okay, Sin. As he kind of like just like spaces out into like the sky, just trying to make sure that my heart's still beating right now.
Well, if you want to do this more often, I'm totally down.
Selenia's gonna come marching over.
Okay,
And
you
lift
are
up
at the
it.
bottom of the wall. Keep in mind they are 10 feet up.
Yeah, I'm right next to you. I look pale and kind of at this point of when you're afraid and then start to get angry because someone scared you.
She looks up, she shouts, "We are here to do a mission, and you guys are climbing walls right now and sitting. Can I?" And she's gonna say, "Get down here now." And can I do like a intimidation? Like she's an upset mom.
Okay, both of you, I need you both to roll charisma saving throws. And Selenia, you are going to roll an intimidation. As both of them kind of
I would-
look up into
I
the
would
sky
like
and
to
then you come
help
over.
her, because I'm standing right next to her.
All
looking at
right,
me.
Runa, you will give advantage to Selenia for
Yes.
her intimidation against Sin and Morthos's charisma saves.
I would just like to point out that Ven is just kind of standing behind everyone, like flipping a dagger with her mage hand, just kind of like watching this.
I
Just
call that helping.
lazing about on the back.
Not helping at all.
What'd you get, Selenia?
24.
Oh shit! All right.
Sin, you got 5. Morthos, you
19.
got 19. Okay.
I accept. He won't,
Mama
like,
Selenia is pissed.
Hey, Ven, come here a second.
I walk over to where Glyndon is. I guess.
Okay. You two come down off the wall.
nonchalantly, like nothing happened.
Like it's your idea.
Okay, Sin.
He's just kind of huff and puff, and he's gonna be like, fine. But like I said before, that Sin's gonna look up in the sky and see if there was blue eyes still peering down.
Nothing staring back.
All right, that's what he's afraid of.
You guys done? She looks at both of you.
Sin looks at Morthos.
There's a lava lake. Sin, you want to go check that out?
Hell yeah!
Well,
No.
Sin was already fishing in the lava lake. But we found out that those buildings over there are most likely the shrines of the Trickster gods. Maybe we should examine them a bit more closely so we find more clues about what awaits us in that tomb and resting place.
Sin kind of brushes Morthos and says, "Hey, maybe there's a battle in there that we can have. That'll definitely get the iron going."
Yeah, maybe.
I'm ignoring
Alright.
them and walking over to
Yeah,
Glyndon.
Ven, you walk over to Glyndon. So, Glyndon, again, you are 10 feet above Ven. Ven, you are on looking up at Glyndon.
Well, he's technically only 4 feet above me. I'm almost 6 feet, so
Fair enough.
I just kind of bend down and then reach my hand out to her, and then I look at her and I say, "Do you trust me?"
not at all. But I take his hand anyway.
All right.
And I lift her up.
The shipping is real.
No.
Okay, Glyndon, you just for the hell of it, roll an athletics check.
Athletics is a 13.
13. Okay, Ven, you're not the heaviest individual and you kind of help, but it is comforting. There's nothing tender about his grasp, but there's nothing hurtful either. It is literally just a helping arm getting you up. You know, he doesn't drop you. He doesn't fuck with you. He doesn't even kind of like, oh, you know, he just helps you up.
Thanks. And she like bounces up top. Probably badly.
Do you want to piss Sin off a little bit?
Of course.
Let's go fuck with this shrine.
Okay.
And I hop down the other side.
I jump down the other side as well.
Okay, both of you roll
Does Cindy
acrobatics
hear that?
checks. No, but you guys kind of all notice that your two friends hop down the outside of the wall.
16
Now where
for my
the
acro.
fuck are they going?
I got a 10.
Okay,
I point over at the doorway. There is a... Why is everyone climbing up on walls that seem to collapse on people? And I point at Orvex and then at the gate. I mean, we could just walk out of there. Do we have to climb on?
We're on the other side of the wall.
when you point to Orvex just like,
I don't get it. And I throw my
um,
hands up and walk over to that
Galinden,
shrine then.
you land, your knees buckle exactly as you know they should. You kind of go into a roll and you come up. Then you just try and land like right on your feet, and the weight of that kind of jump just kind of jars you for just a half second. You're like, oh, that was. Mm-hmm.
How do you do that?
Try rolling out of it next time. You'll figure it.
It's dirty.
You have magic to get rid of that shit, don't you?
No, I don't.
Well, Runa's got magic.
I have magic, just not that magic. I say as I like poke it with my
Speaking of
mage hand.
Runa, you guys are walking along, and Runa, there are also just holes in the walls where a person can just walk out of the compound.
That's not
And
fun.
so Runa just furiously storming out of the hole, just, there are holes in the walls, and you're jumping off them, just screaming.
I want to pull the glaive out and then head towards that pool.
Okay, is the rest of the party following?
Yes, because I'm very now curious of where the fuck they're going.
Okay. So you guys
Morthos kind of has
continue.
like a smile on his face. He's kind of eager now. I think it's probably the first time anybody in the party has seen Morthos smile in a month.
Okay, so you guys begin walking towards the shrine, and you finally approach it. And you're probably about 15 feet from the edge of the shrine. You can see two tall obelisks, not as tall as the building, but two obelisks kind of mark the entrance to this shrine. You can see the pool with the frog statue in the middle. And then you can see the walled compound with the stone edifice or structure that stands there, allowing you to enter it if you wish. There are two doors closed and made of burnished gold.
Hey Galandan, what is the plan? I say, and securing my shield on my arm, looking ready to do battle. I also look slightly mollified that Morto seems to have a good time, so he's smiling. Then I
Okay, Galinden, roll a quick perception check for me.
14.
14. You've been keeping a steady, watchful eye on those two plants. And you do notice that there is this kind of black blur on the water near where those eye stalks are. And you've in fact do note that they aren't plant stalks, but
shit.
are eye stalks.
There is no plan, and I shoot an arrow at the eye stalks.
Okay, initiating combat. Go ahead and roll an attack
Yeah.
roll at disadvantage.
I had a nat 20, but 18.
Okay, 18. At the same time you shoot your bow, is the same time the water erupts out of the pool. Pushing it out of the way is a creature of immense size. Mud and water kind of pool off of it, and you see its two arms reach out, and they're just tentacles on the end of the arms, and the tentacles kind of slither and slurp at the air hungrily, and it just kind of lets out this horrendous roar. You still do hit it with the arrow, Galinden, but unfortunately, where you would have hit one of the eyes, potentially blinding that eye stalk, you now just hit kind of center mass of this big, hulking, ugly creature.
Okay, 19 on the damage.
19 on the damage. Wow, very well done.
Yeah,
All right.
I've dropped my glaive beside me, realizing I'm not a melee combatant.
And then we will roll initiative.
Sun got a 15.
Okay. Then,
12.
Morthos,
17.
Runa,
3.
Selenia,
6.
Galinden.
8.
Oh, that hurts. All right, Morthos, you are up first as this huge, hulking, nasty-looking creature stands before you.
He's gonna shout over at Selenia, "Give me your spear, or at least so I can touch it."
Point towards him.
Sen kind of like winks or kind of looks at you weirdly.
Well, he's gonna like grab the tip of the spear and cast elemental weapon on it,
Yeah, I bet.
and it'll be lightning.
Okay. So you watch as Morthos touches your spear, and all of a sudden it arcs down the side of it, this kind of lightning crackling energy that enshrouds the spear. Doesn't hurt you at all, Selenia, but you're kind of like, all right.
And he'll
That you?
probably just cast for his bonus action Hexblade Curse on the creature.
Okay, so you place your curse on the creature. You get the very familiar aura enshrouding it, this kind of blackish, inky aura that you can see. As we move now to Sin. So this creature is still 15 feet away from the party, just so you are all aware. It's still standing in the pool, but it's basically thrown all of the water out of it.
Sen's gonna laugh as he brings out his axe, and his eyes become blue, and he says, "I've been waiting for this shit." And he runs full force and jumps to go swing at his head using Great Weapon Master.
Excellent.
So that's 17 to hit and 16 to hit.
17 and 16 to hit. As you guys watch as Sin goes running in, while you're rolling damage, go ahead, Sin. As Sin goes running in, leaping, and he kind of pushes off one of the obelisks and just brings the great axe in, just slams in once, and then on his way down, just brings it in an overhand strike that carves down the front of the belly, allowing him to almost ride this creature back down. This creature is huge. It is immense.
Doing math.
Yep.
$48 points of damage.
Holy shittitos, Batman. Okay. Yeah, you carve a big hole into this creature. And it just
And-
kind of
Sorry, lightning damage.
takes it and kind of warbles, and then all of a sudden you see that lightning just kind of arcs through it again, and it's this very almost comical kind of, it almost seems to take on this kind of weird kind of rigor mortis dance, as it's just like yeah, you severely just fucked this creature up, Sin, as we come to Ven.
Yeah, take 2 lightning damage, by the way.
So you're raging? Okay. Are you raging right beside us?
I ran
No,
up 15 feet ahead.
he's
Okay.
up 15 feet ahead.
Okay. I'm going to cast a level 3 magic missile at this creature.
Holy shit. Okay. Wow. Party is not fucking around.
So it's 16 force damage.
16 force damage.
And I think that's my whole turn. Yeah, that's going to be my turn.
All right. It is now the Frogamoth's turn. And it is going to reach out a tentacle to slap Sin with it. Sin, that's an AC 14 to hit.
Miss.
All right. Still kind of struggling against the shock. You can see that it just does not seemingly capable of hitting you. And then you all of a sudden watch as that kind of shock lets go and it seems to return to its kind of fearsome self. As we move now to Galinden.
All right, I'm going to take 2 shots at it.
Okay.
Maybe you want to take one with advantage because Carol
Why not?
was so nice to give anyone advantage. So
Thanks,
maybe
Cork.
take that.
I rolled 2 16s. So natural 16 plus 5, 21.
21 hits.
8 d8 plus 5, d8 plus 15. For 20 on the first hit?
20 points of damage, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, taken.
Second attack roll is a dirty 20.
Hits.
For another 20 points of damage.
Very nice. This thing is looking fucked up in a hurry as we move to Selenia.
Okay. Ooh. It's 15 feet away from us.
From you currently, yep. And if you move within 10 feet of Sin, you'll be susceptible to his aura.
Okay.
And Sin's right on the creature, so you move 10 feet within the creature, you're going to get hit.
Could I possibly go around that aura?
Not to get to the Frogamoth, it's a 10-foot radius aura. Right,
Alright.
so it's just a circle around Sin and the Frogamoth.
Doesn't the spear still have reach though? So
Yeah.
It's only a
Spear
10-foot reach.
has a 10-foot reach, so I mean it's iffy, right? He'd have the dexterity saving throw at advantage against Sin's aura.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I'll just do it anyway. So Selenia's gonna run up and then try to go for its eyes. I guess. Does it have eyes, right?
Yeah, it has eyes like right up at the top of its ugly, weird, bulbous head.
Okay, we'll go for its eyes. Extra attack too. 17 and a 13. Oh, I gotta add. Crap.
It's always that realization in D&D, isn't it?
Oh, a 29,
Yeah, that hits.
and a 25.
29 and a 25 both hit from Selenia with your lightning imbued spears. So don't forget to roll your extra 1d4 lightning
Oh, D4. Okay.
on both strikes.
So roll 2 D4s then?
Yeah.
Okay. First one is 9. And then the
9
other
points of
one,
damage.
yep, and the other one is 11. Yeah.
11 points of damage. All right. That has been taken as well. This thing is severely injured as we move to Runa.
Wait, should I make a saving throw though?
Yes,
Or
dexterity
something.
saving throw against Sin's aura. Thank you.
So you're saying it looks really rough?
Definitely bloodied. Not critically injured, but definitely bloodied.
Since I have that aura of protection, can I do another roll too
Hmm.
for myself?
I don't think it works on you.
I don't think it works on you.
Dang. All right. 16.
You beat
16,
it,
yeah, you beat it. You get out of the way of the kind of arcing lightning, kind of almost used to it by now, fighting alongside Sin for this long. You kind of almost recognize the random patterns of it, and you just always know, just kind of keep sticking and moving, and so you keep yourself out of the way very easily of the damage. As Runa, your turn.
Yeah. Oh, I'm a bit conflicted. I wanted to do Ray of Enfeeblement, so its attack would only do half damage, but if it looks so hurt, I think I'm going with Guiding Bolt on a higher level. And I'm going to use the advantage that Shadowed, I think, gave to me a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll roll the d20 twice. And that is 19 to hit.
19 hits, absolutely.
Right. And I'm going to cast Guiding Bolt on 3rd level, which means 6 dice 6 to hit it with radiant damage. Ooh, that's not bad. Let's see. Does my spellcasting modifier go on there?
To all you DMs out there, hell hath no fury like a party with a goal, eh?
Indeed. So that's 10, 12, 18, 24 points of radiant damage.
24 points of radiant damage. This thing is critically injured.
And the target is glittering with this radiant light. So the next attack on it has advantage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Question:
Right.
did I take out its eyes at all?
Yeah, you did take out one. You don't think it can see shit.
Okay, and that's the end of my that's the end of my turn.
That's the end of your turn as we come to the top of the round. Morthos.
Gonna hit it with 2 beams of Eldritch Blast.
Okay. So the next attack, so your first Eldritch Blast is at advantage thanks to the Guiding Bolt, and then the radiant light kind of marking the target would go away, and your second one will be a regular Eldritch Blast.
Okay. Alright, so that is 17 for the first one with advantage, and the second one is, I rolled a natural 17, so 24? Yeah.
Both hit.
Haven't rolled a d10 in a while. 8.
8 points of total damage.
Yep, I rolled a
All
1 and a
right.
7.
It still survives as we come now to Sin.
Sin smiles as he realizes it's alive and gets to do it again.
Yeah.
And he's going to use reckless attack, which gets advantage on the first attack.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 26 to hit
Yeah.
and a 21 to hit.
Both hit.
$30 points of damage.
30 points of damage. Selenia, standing beside Sin, up in the face of this Frogamoth, you see that he just kind of smiles and he lifts up his great axe and he just and just slams into this thing multiple times and just obliterates this creature back into the mud from whence it came, just dropping it down to the ground. Bits of it go flying everywhere, and then as he finally lets off and looks at you kind of you can actually see that his burning blue eyes flare bright, but for a split second, the face is not his face. It's like this kind of spectral blue face of this far more stern-faced warrior than Sin. Sin has this kind of gentle look always about him, but this one is far more stern and fierce, and then it just kind of fades as his rage kind of fades, and he kind of
You okay over there?
Sin goes, oh, that was so much fun.
It was kind of fun.
I haven't been able to let off that much steam in a while. Holy shit!
How's everybody else? I look around.
everybody seems fine.
Give
I
you a
don't even
thumbs up
think-
from behind.
Anybody took any damage? You guys all look at this sizzling, charred monster, and you're just like,
I pick up my glaive, put my bow away, and then I say, well, shall we go inside the shrine?
Indeed.
Hmm.
I have my axe out ready.
I wonder at Upsau, who takes a wood frog and thinks, hey, good idea, everyone. Let's make this big and give it tentacles.
Well, I think you
As
wanted
I walk towards the shrine.
I think you wanted to punish the Omuans. This is why you made it such a terrorizing and terrifying looking creature.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Wasn't that terrifying?
Well, not to us, but I'm sure to plebeian types, commoners.
Oh, of course.
Before we go in, can I check
You.
the pool and the body?
okay, you look into the pool, what's left of it. Don't find anything. The body, no. The only other thing that there really is the stone frog statue. That's about it.
Nothing special about it.
Go ahead and roll an investigation check.
Where the heck is it? Oh, okay. That's a 17.
A 17. Okay, you can see that there is actually something on the like stone tongue of this statue. And you kind of get up there and you look in and you kind of reach in at the same time and your hands kind of grab onto it and you kind of pull it out with this kind of soft and it kind of pops out. It is a stone key.
Okay. I look at the key, and then I look at the golden doors.
There is a keyhole in the doors.
By
Is
the
that-
way, are the doors actual gold or do they just look gold?
You're not sure.
What? I would know.
Can we investigate them maybe to find out?
Push
I
on
gotta-
it if it bends.
Someone bite in the door.
Okay, so you step up, all of you, kind of using your way to work around, and however you get before these doors, and then you get out your dagger and you kind of scrape away at the door. It's soft, scrapes just like gold, and the more you continue scraping, the more you just find more gold.
Interesting.
I think these doors are locked.
And yes, they are. Morthos, as you approach, kind of smiling at yourself, kind of like, still got it. You look up and you can see an inscription written in Old Omuan over the lintel of this kind of doorway. And as with always, your eyes of the Runekeeper engage, and you watch as the cuneiform shapes of Old Omuan shift and kind of bend and twist into common for you to read. And it reads, Kubazan urges us to tread without fear and to give back as much as we take.
I'll be sure to relay that to the party.
This looks to be the shrine. This looks to be the shrine of the Frogmoth, Kubazan. Good eye, Morthos.
Agreed.
Thanks, Glendon.
Runa also agreed.
You're the first that said it, but yeah.
Sorry, Runa. I won't step on your toes anymore.
I whisper to Selenia,
Great.
awkward, and point towards the keyhole.
Can someone please open the door? Also, I
who
wonder
can.
if Kabasan means bravery and to fight one of those monsters that look like him is the way to open the doors. Do you think what was written in the guardhouse is a key to how to open the other shrines?
I think maybe, potentially, yeah.
Okay, so Selenia, you step up. You insert the key into the door. You kind of spin it, and it takes a second. You kind of gotta like, and it just kind of, you feel it click, and you watch as all of a sudden a magical glyph flares to life just for a half second, and then dissipates back into the keyhole. And so you're like, good thing I had a friggin' key. And you push open the doorway, and it kind of very easily just kind of opens up. Doesn't really grind very much. I mean, there's a little bit of grinding, but not very much.
Do you see anything? Is this like a big building?
It's fairly, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say big. Looking down, you can see that steps descend to a ledge overlooking a pit of sharpened stakes. An alcove on the far wall holds a pedestal with a stone cube resting on it. A relief carved into the back of the alcove shows a monstrous frog with tentacles fighting a crane. Wooden beams radiate from the wall at floor height with 4-foot gaps between them. Carved frog heads extrude from the walls above the beams.
How big is the stone cube?
Not very big at all. I'd say probably maybe a foot by a foot. Maybe you would guess might weigh about half a pound.
Hey guys, how far away is it?
Across from like the very edge of the ledge, probably only about 12 to 15 feet away from you.
You guys want me to get that cube?
Yeah, but I'm gonna say, you think that's the puzzle cubes?
I think so.
I don't know, but I want it. I think we need it.
Well,
Let's
not to
don't get our
mention,
curiosity
like,
Well,
Well, princess, if you want it, why don't you just take it?
As he says that, I do. I mage hand it and grab it.
I look at Glenn and I say, "Don't boost her ego."
Okay, the mage hand grabs up the puzzle cube, and you watch as the soft little pedestal it stands on depresses slightly, and then pops back up, and you immediately hear as the gate slams shut behind you all, and immediately the shrine begins filling with gas. I need everybody to make a Constitution saving throw, please.
How high are the walls behind
Fucking
us?
princesses.
we need to get back something of equal value.
You
Nat
can't
20.
get out to walls at this point, Galinden. You are inside the shrine.
Nice, not 20.
8 for Morthos.
Okay, so I got a nat 20 for Ven, an 8 for Morthos, Sin,
25.
25, Runa,
I have 22.
okay, Selenia,
Hold on, I was checking something.
Galinden.
22.
All right.
What kind of roll was this?
Constitution saving throw.
By the way, do we get the
Oh,
advantage
yes,
of
you guys do
Selenia's
get the
aura?
effective protection, which I believe is plus
Okay.
5
Thank
to
you.
all
And
saves.
then for me?
Okay, then I had like a 31.
So, a 13 for Morthos then?
Okay.
I got a 6.
Plus 5?
And plus your Consti modifier? How is that even possible?
I rolled a 3. Plus
Oh,
3.
no.
And did you say a plus 5?
Yeah.
Your aura. No, his aura
I
doesn't
don't
work
get
on
that.
Oh.
Oh, that's too bad.
So let me question: is this a disease? Because I'm
This
immune.
This is not a disease. You immediately cough as the gas fills your lungs.
Can I
you
cast
just
a
hear-
spell?
You'll still take the damage first.
Okay.
And you're going to take 14 points of poison damage.
I go to Ven quickly and going through my bag or on my hip there. There's one of the dragon horns. I say, "Here, put this on it
What?
Okay.
with your mage hand. Take this horn and put it on the pedestal."
Okay, do I have the cube yet? Like, is it in my hand?
Yeah, the
Actual
mage hand has come back and you have the
Okay.
cube.
Okay,
They
then
both
I.
feel comparable in weight. As you reach out with the mage hand to put the tooth back on, the gas gets a little bit worse. I need everybody to make another round of Constitution saving throws, please.
Good job.
Could I?
You can cast a spell now if you would like.
Can I cast protection from poison? I don't know how that works though.
On?
Was it just one person?
I believe so.
Let me double check. I don't know.
Did Morthos pass the previous constitution?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Yeah, so I guess I'll use it on myself as a self-defense thing.
Okay, so you quickly cast your second level. All right, so you will have advantage on this saving throw. Everybody else rolls at regular. Ven, what'd you get?
24.
Morthos.
11.
Sin.
16.
Did you guys all roll with the +5, by the way, from Aura of Protection?
Yep.
No.
Okay. Well, you're still fine, Ven. You're fine, Sin. Runa?
15 with the +5.
Okay, Galinden?
19.
Okay, Selenia?
11.
Okay. You will have the resistance to this poison damage, which is 10 points of poison damage to you, Selenia, and Morthos, you also take 10 points of poison damage.
I would like to use prestidigitation to move the poison away from my face with a small puff of air, and I also wave my shield like as if to clear the air. And
as
say,
you do
"Let's
that,
get out
you guys hear
of here."
this kind of, and immediately the gas just kind of back into the building. The door kind of
Sin bolts.
Everyone out.
What are you guys talking about? It's fine in here.
Shut up, Ben. Everyone out.
Sin like stops mid run and he looks back at you and goes, "Uh-huh."
I'm just playing with my cube.
Okay.
To the next shrine, then.
So leaving Kubazan's shrine, you come out to an increasingly fast twilight setting in over Omu.
Maybe
Well, is anybody tired?
maybe a rest, and then tomorrow with fresh energy. We have a building right there that has been secured skillfully, I say, and
Burn
give
it down.
club
Yeah,
energy.
we can rest if you guys need to, and then head out first light.
Mhm.
I agree.
I also would like to talk with that servant of the Thayans a bit more to hear which buildings they might have
If
already
he's still there.
investigated.
Yeah,
If
where
he's
is
still
he
there.
at?
Yeah.
You
If he hasn't
guys
left.
wander back in, and you guys are kind of like, where the fuck is that guy? And he's just been sitting over with Runa's water skin, slowly sipping away at water and eating the rations he gave her. He is way too tired to do anything else.
What's in the cube?
He says as I'm
Oh.
like fumbling with it.
It doesn't open.
Is it turned? Does it do anything?
Nope, it's just a solid cube embossed with what seems to be a symbol of a frogamoth.
Oh, this is boring.
Well, do we have some place to put it since we have to get 9 of them?
Nope.
We should
'Cause I don't think we should carry it everywhere we go.
How big would you say this cube is? Is it like a hand? Like you hold it in your hand type cube? Or is it
Yeah,
it's
I'd
a one
say
by one by
so.
one.
Probably about, right in the palm of your hand. A little bit of an extra large Rubik's cube kind of thing, except it doesn't turn or anything.
I think we should take it with us. I
I
don't
think so too.
feel good hiding it here. What if someone stumbles over it
Oh.
and steals it after the trouble we went to?
I also think that if people were here before us, this V, I'd give like a knowingly glance over at Runa. They may have other ones. They may have done this before us, and they may have other. So we may find shrines with no cubes, potentially. Or maybe they've been thwarted by these shrines with these cubes.
Yeah.
So I think it's, our second Runa, and that we should hang on to these as we travel. We just need to be extra careful.
I just
let's
tossed the one I have back between my hands, back and forth.
I say you're gonna lose that.
No, I won't. I have 3 hands. I say as another hand, my mage hand like catches it.
That's weird.
You're weird.
I'm gonna druid craft
You're
for the weather for the rest of the day. I guess for the next 24 hours.
It's going to rain overnight and get nothing but heavier in the morning.
It's gonna be a shitty day tomorrow, so get your sleep.
What do you mean by
It's gonna be
shitty?
a wet one. It's gonna be wet.
Oh, hell yeah!
You're weird.
You're so weird.
Indeed.
Fine. Sin just walks away. Fuck.
Okay.
Okay, I guess I'll trance for 4 hours and then take the last 2 watches.
No, let me take the last watch. How many
Well,
times?
I'll be up, so we don't need to keep fighting over this.
Do the opposite.
I prefer to be up in the morning and
I
not
shoulder
trancing.
my sleeping roll and look at Selenia. Isn't it cute when they're doing that? I went into the
Shut up,
building.
Runa! That's
Shut
enough out
up.
of you.
I'll take first watch. Screw it.
it's gross, I say. And then get ready for bed.
Is there any what building are we in? What is it?
You're in one of the buildings of the walled compound. It appears to have been perhaps a villa of a noble at one point. You do kind of very slyly work your way into what you assume would be the master bedroom of the house, and that's where you sleep. You see Sin climbs up onto part of a wall and just kind of leans up against one of the kind of curved, broken edges of it and just kind of lays there and falls asleep. Everybody kind of separately finds their own way to bed.
Since I'm gonna take first watch because someone won't take it. I'm gonna try. Is there a balcony? Maybe if it's a noble villa, it's probably got a balcony.
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna sit on the balcony and keep watch from there.
Okay.
As you go up there, that's where Glyndon's doing his trance.
Okay, can I get on the roof from there?
You roll an athletics check.
I'm bad at those. He's in a trance though, right? He can't hear or see anything.
It's a bit of a gray area. You do have advantage from Shoddy Fiddle to get up. And Selenia, you guys watch as Selenia kind of stands in the middle and she kind of does a little bit of a spell and then at the very end gives out this kind of and all of a sudden you kind of hear this and Soraya just kind of comes out and kind of nuzzles up against Selenia and you just kind of you feel the reptilian head and she kind of bows down to you and kind of nudges you twice with her snout and
Off to bed we go.
I rolled 16.
okay, you roll 16. You get up onto the roof. Glyndon pays no mind. You stand up onto the roof. It's this very strange but beautiful feel here. Everything is mostly quiet. The moonlight reflects off of the pond, off in the distance, and the river that flows through the center of the city. And then there's the red deep glow off to the right. Kind of both arise. Your watch passes uneventfully. Second watch passes uneventfully. Then you figure about time to probably go make sure Glyndon gets up.
I throw something at him, like a shingle or a rock or something.
Okay, Glyndon, you are brought out of your trance, not early, but you are brought out of your trance by something hitting the back of your head. And it just kind of pings off the back of your head, and Ven just kind of drops down and says, "Oh, sorry," and just walks inside.
Children. And I leap down, and my watch, I'd like to scout the nearest shrine, the one that I thought I spotted earlier on.
Okay, roll a stealth check.
Stealth is, there it is, 12.
12. Okay, you do manage to spot your way around it, and you become very aware that there is something out in the jungle. You come across what appear to be jaguar tracks.
Mm-hmm.
And you just give it a wide berth.
Yep.
You take note of that maybe there's one of those layering the shrine or around the shrine, perhaps. And you just scout around. Nothing else happens. And as you all wake up, getting ready to go and retrieve the remaining puzzle cubes and find out how to get to the Soulmonger to defeat it. That's where we'll end tonight's session. But, as a little note, you all awaken stronger than you were the night before. The party levels up.
Hallelujah.
Oh, yeah.
Morthos has another week.
All right, so everybody, just real quickly, let's roll our health or take your averages.
You know what I'm doing.
Get it out of the way. In the meantime, thank you everyone for watching our stream. It means so much to us that you come day in, day out when we play. Thank you to my mod. A reminder that Tomb of Annihilation returns August 19th with an all-new episode. As for time, sorry for the confusion and all of the tweets. As for the time of the episode, that is to be announced. So stay tuned on the Twitter at Fumbles and Fame, and we will keep you posted as best we can. Special thanks for the music done by Scott Buckley that we use for our pre and pause stream. You can find all of his music at scottbuckley.com.au. I totally recommend you guys go check out that website, especially for all you DMs out there. It has some great stuff that you can use to create some really great moments in your home games. Again, just to stay completely up to date with all of our FAF news, follow us on Twitter. Again, that's at Fumbles and Fame, all one word. Join our Discord and follow us right here on Twitch. And as a special note, our lovely Tahina is a part of another group on another channel. Tahina, if you just want to talk real quickly about that.
Yeah. On Tuesday nights, you can see me over on Scraticus's channel. It's a channel that Fumbles and Fame hosts quite often. And I play in Wizards and Wardrobes. It's a desert-themed campaign. And I play Forja Flamemane, the daughter of the desert, a fire genasi druid. And we're in the middle of an orc camp, basically about to fight in the arena. I'm not quite sure. But it's a very intense campaign and yeah, very entertaining. I would love to see you there.
All right, folks. And Scraticus is a dear friend of Fumbles. He's helped us out quite a bit, and his is a good channel to watch as well. Thanks again for joining us, guys. Thanks again for hanging out with us as always. We're always happy to see you. Tell your friends, tell your mom, dad, tell everybody to come watch us next time, as it's only going to get more exciting from here as the party delves further into Omu and eventually the Tomb of the Nine Gods. Have a good night, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.